Okay, welcome. This is Mark, and I'm coming to you from Baker Green Acres, and this is going to be our Anyone Can Farm live farmstead chat on the Homestead channel here. And I'm a little bit late. I apologize. Nobody was waiting anyway, so I'm just talking to myself. So what do you do? Sit here and talk to yourself, or what?
Well, you're recording.
I am recording. Okay. Well, the reason I'm late is because we have a lot going on here tonight, and I've had a lot of going on today, and actually got something special going tomorrow, and I had to do some preparation for it today. So I apologize that I don't have my act together too well. We're actually didn't even have it up so that people could leave questions at all. So we're a little late, but nevertheless we're here. All right. Well, tell you what. I don't have a rant to go on tonight, other than, um, maybe what I did today was I had to get ready for tomorrow, and that means I had to work ahead a little bit on some things, and I got that done. I got to rotate some pigs onto a new pasture, which was nice. I did get my cows bred yesterday, so that's off my mind, and so we'll be calving next May, and that's nice to know. I used artificial insemination this time, and if you don't know what that is, it's instead of using a bull, there are people that are real good at that, and they're able to feel around in there, and they can put a semen sample right in to the spot it needs to go. And I don't know a whole lot about it. I'd like to learn to be able to do it myself, but this guy was so efficient that I just it's easy just to make a phone call, and he's running around to other farms in the neighborhood. And I only have 3 cows, but he's here all the time. He actually lives quite close. So anyway, a semen sample was $30 for the type of animal that I would like my cows to have. I like Wagyu beef, and so that's the sample that I purchased. So everything's rolling. This time of the summer, now we're wanting some rain to come. We Everything's in full bloom. Garden's doing well. We're eating out of the garden. We're eating a lot of Baker food, and that's good. I really appreciate that. I got the majority of my hay in. I probably will make another cutting here soon. 3 weeks, maybe a month, and try to get a few more bales in. So I'm just going to go right to questions now. We have 8,000 people. So I'm sure there's a few questions that people have. I'm glad I tuned in. I almost said, the heck with it. I got other things to do, but I'm glad I tuned in. Sometimes, when you got a lot going on, you kind of feel like, oh, gee, I don't have time. But I'm glad I made time, because I guess I'm getting in the groove now. So if you would like to ask some questions, maybe get me on a subject, I would love to expound on it.
Did you show a puppy?
I did not show a puppy. I guess everybody likes to see puppies. Claire had puppies, I think it might have been a week ago. So it might have been last Wednesday. And she wound up having 10. We don't count stillborns. So she had 10 live babies, and they're in really, really great shape. This is the time of the year, if you're going to have puppies, to have puppies. So this is an all-white pup. Yeah. And this is a badger face. All right. Of course, their eyes are still closed. Their eyes won't be open until about 10 days. And they're sort of like little worms, the way they crawl around. And they're always looking for their mom. Right? Yeah, okay. They're cute. They're cute.
And Claire's
You make
watching.
earrings out of them. And they smell so good. So they get to be about 8 or 10 weeks before they leave, and by that time they're running around and they're got little personalities on them. This one is, I think this is Sterling. No, that's not. It's got a different tail on it. But here you go. Here's the puppy's back.
They're chubs for just a week old.
Yeah, they're chubs.
Yeah.
So
Ken
we.
wanted to know if you're doing any workshops this fall.
Who did?
Ken Denzer.
Oh, Ken. Yeah. We're gonna do the Homestead Hog Harvest, which this will be I think our 11th year. I'm pretty sure. At least our 10th. And that is a 3-day event because that's about what it takes you to get a hog harvested. We wait till the fall so that the season is working for us. We don't have to deal with flies, and we have the natural coolness of those fall nights to where the carcass will set up. So the first day, about noon, after we meet and greet everybody, and everybody gets their little name tags on, and we find out where they're from and why they've come, then we shoot our hat. What we do is we want a pig for each group of 3 people. So we always wind up doing 2 because that way there's a demonstration half that I can make the cuts on, and then we eviscerate. Some of the organ meats that we're going to use, and we'll actually cook some of them for dinner that first night. And then Saturday, we start at, what time do we start? 9. Generally, people have to travel a little bit. You know, people that are coming in from out of state or even, even lower in the state will wind up staying in town or something like that. But so then on Saturday, we break down the halves into what they call primals. And then we'll take those primal cuts and break those down into semi-primals or sub-primals. And then we start doing the salting and the curing and sausage stuffing and hanging meat and stuff like that. And all along, you get a lot of instruction. Everyone will have a knife in their hand. Everyone will get to participate in the scalding and scraping. And if you've not shot a gun, you can actually shoot a gun here. You won't get to shoot a pig with it. That you can do. We don't actually kill the pig with a gun. It just stuns him, and we are killing the pig with a knife. All right, so we'll show you how to make that particular. And then when the pig is in half, you get to see it up close and personal. So the cuts make more sense, and you're encouraged to take pictures. We give a workbook out. Sunday we do a lot of prep work, a lot of packing, and then the pig is made available to the participants of the class at a very reduced rate. And we would love to see the entire pig leave on that day. So it's a very successful class. It's $500. We give a little bit of a discount for certain folks. So let us know if you think you're one of those certain folks. If you're a veteran, we like to help vets out if we can. And it's fun. I mean, you'll meet people that have traveled to learn how to kill a pig. So if you're the type of person that would like to do something like that, I guarantee you will be in with other people that like to do things like that. And the chances are you're going to find out that there's a lot of other things that people that like to do that also like to do, really very unique crafts and things like that. Very unique people. Down to earth. We do eat a lot together, and it's a good time of hanging out, and talking farmstead and life, the type of life that we lead on a homestead. So that's going to be November 1st, which is a Friday, and then there will be another class, most likely in the Upper Peninsula, although we have not set the date on that. And I think maybe we would do another on the road, and that's where your farm possibly would host us. And we can, if you're interested in that, we can talk the particulars on that. But actually, the host farm does quite well on it, because you market the slots, and then people pay you for the slots, and then you have to pay us, but there's quite a bit left over. So it would behoove people, if they were interested in doing that, to get a hold of us, and we can run through the numbers on it for you. Okay, so that's the class we're going to do. I am going to do a fencing class over on Beaver Island, but I haven't set the date on that. But that will be this fall as well. Okay.
But if someone is interested in that, let us know and we'll put you on the list to.
Yeah, if you want to go over to Beaver
Posted.
Island with us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Beaver Island is in Lake Michigan. It's 32 miles off the coast, and there's a ferry that goes over once a day. So you go over and come back, and it's pretty reasonable for the ferry ride. It's 2 hours. You can take quite a bit of stuff, and it's nice. So the island is beautiful. It's pretty easy to get around. It's not real touristy. Everybody that's there is quite intentional in their reasons for being there. So you meet a lot of interesting people, really a lot of interesting people. And we are kicking around the idea, might as well let the cat out of the bag, of starting up a community farm on the island that Jill and I would head up and try to incorporate as much of the hands-on skills that we possibly can, because when people set foot on that island, that's what they did. Is the first order of business was to secure food, and so now we have tremendous ways of greenhousing, so we can produce food in the cooler climates, or even in the wintertime. Can be done. And then the island is far enough away where if you raised a bunch of chickens there and you wanted to send them back to the mainland to be processed, by the time you got them back, it would be quite an expensive process, and it's prohibitive. So the people that are on the island have to learn how to do those skills. And a lot of them want to learn to do those skills, but there's just nobody to really run through it with them, or that sees it as kind of a mission field. So we do, and we've met some people over there that enjoy our company. So we're going to go over and see if we can't facilitate something like that. And there's a couple of entities that are involved that would like to see that happen. So we'll see where it goes. I'm actually heading over there this week. So, and we're going to do a little camping while we're there. So, all right, there's 13,000 people.
Yeah,
Is there a question?
there is.
All right.
Mike Finn wants to know, at what age should I breed my Jersey heifer? And he doesn't need to worry about cold, but is heat a problem with calving?
Now he's in Florida, so that's a different kind of heat than here. Now I've not calved there, Mike, so I don't know. But if I were here, and let's say it was 100 degrees out and the calf dropped, would I get that calf in the shade? I would. I would. So, yeah. Why not? I know I've seen some photos and stuff of your place. Why not see if you can calve someplace where there's shade? And I believe your cows will go in the shade to do it if it's a hot day. And you're not going to have to worry about cold. You might have to worry about pythons, though, and alligators. I don't have them here. What was the first part of the question?
At what age should I breed my Jersey heifer?
That's a good question for you. What do you think?
Usually they try and do it about 12 months, 12 to 14.
Dairy outfit and took care of lots and lots of them and was right there while they did it. But I think that you're probably going to want to do AI unless you're going to want to keep a bull, which that's one thing that I'm still not in support of, is the inexperienced homesteader. And really, when the homesteaders get experience with bulls. You really don't. Most guys that keep bulls have a herd, and they are born into it. A lot of them, but bulls are dangerous. They are dangerous. I think there's more people killed by bulls than sharks. I think that's the number one killer
Or
of
cows
people.
in general.
Cows
Anyway,
in
yeah.
general, yeah.
And bulls
But-
are definitely more.
Yeah, bulls are. We had a bull for years, and when he was gone, even though I got ripped off on the deal, I was kind of glad he was gone because when the cows were out, he wanted to be with them. If he was out there with them, he would fight with them. He would fight with the steers. He would fight with the trees. He would fight with the fences. And if you tried to push him around, he would fight with you. And it wasn't an animal that I wanted around here because unpredictable and huge, and there was no stopping him. The Red Ryder BB gun came in mighty handy with him, though, I can tell you that. So, but I hope you do look into AI and learn that process at least enough to know from your end what you have to do. Like with us, what we did, I'll explain this to you. And this was from this company. They told me what to do. And I knew a little bit about it, but I just couldn't quite wrap my head around what I needed to do. Exactly. Somebody just got here. But what I needed to do, and what I did do, was I got a bottle of Ludalace, it's called, and it's a chemical or a drug that will cause the cow to finish up her cycle and begin a new cycle, right? And the reason why you'd want to do that is because, like, I have 3 cows and I wanted to breed all 3 of them this time, and I had a reason for that. And so I wanted them all synced. I wanted them all coming into heat at the same time. So we brought them all in. They all got 5 cc's of Ludalace, right? And then 10 days later, they got another shot of Ludalace. And then 80 hours after that is when the AI man actually put the semen right into her, I guess into her uterus, huh? Was it in her uterus?
I don't know how far in they go.
I don't know how far they go. Well, he went in up to here, I'll tell you that. So he goes in with his arm and all this manure comes out. And then through the anus, he can feel the opening of the uterus, I guess. And then he has this long tube that goes up through the vagina of the cow. And then he's feeling around with his right arm, which is in the anus, and he guides it in, and then he reaches back here and he pushes on a little plunger that only pushes in about that far, and it just puts a ton of semen right in there. And he told me that they were perfect. They couldn't have been any better. But we were pretty anal about, okay, we did them at 10 o'clock, so exactly 10 days would be 10 o'clock on this day, and so we did it exactly 10 o'clock, and then 80 hours from that day, was 6 in the afternoon, whatever it was. And he said, well, let me come a little bit early, and he was late, right? And so he wound up here at 5:45. And so 6 o'clock was the deadline, and you want to be plus or minus an hour on either side, so we nailed it. And he said, I'm pretty sure I got him. So, yeah, 12 months, but I'm thinking, Mike, what you want to do probably is see if you can have your calf come when it's not as hot as the hottest time of the year. So what we do here, we would rather not calve in February, because if it happens at night and we don't catch it, could have a frozen baby on our hands. I mean, literally frozen solid. So I would rather calf April. That's the best time. April, May, right? April's good, but a little on the muddy side. May, perfect. And then what happens is when She gets out on grass. She'll get out on grass around here about May 15th or 16th. And then her milk will be just full of that flush. And then the baby will start to nurse, and, you know. So that's kind of a good time to do that, is when there's a whole lot of grazing going on. Okay? So you might want to look at that and see when, you know, your best grass is if you're on pasture. If you're not on pasture, I don't know as it'll make a whole lot of difference. But she's going to need to eat a lot while she's nursing. And then you can go from there and figure out how long you want to nurse the calf. Or if this is a Jersey, I'm assuming that you're going to take the Jersey and milk the Jersey. And there's things you can do. You can share the milk with the calf, or you can take it all and then give some of the milk to the calf. You can go twice a day if you want, and then you'll really boost your milk production, and, you know, like that. But that's another conversation. Totally another conversation.
Yep. Anthony wanted to know regarding the fencing class on the road. Would you travel as far as northern Nevada for that?
No, I wouldn't go out there to do a fencing class unless you had 20 people that were going to do the class. But the on the road class is, we generally do hog harvest classes, and we would do that, but you would have to make sure there's enough people to support the class, or yeah, if you're interested in that, Northern Nevada, yeah, I'd drive any place.
That'd be a new adventure.
Yeah, it's an adventure. We've gone to Maine, we've gone to Ohio, we've gone to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Yeah, we'd go to Nevada.
Gone to Connecticut, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah, we went to Massachusetts once. Yeah, sure. Contact us if you're serious about it.
Ken says he's still wanting a video on your tractors and other equipment.
My tractors, my chicken tractors.
Equipment. What equipment do you need for the homestead?
Oh, okay.
That'd make a good video series. He's still waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that if you just peruse the videos that we have out there, when I talk about a process, I usually talk about the equipment. So a video to just run down all the equipment, I don't know if I would have the time in the day to do that. I think you'd need to be a little bit more specific. Like, if you tell me what you want to do, I could probably tell you what equipment I think you would need. But I think it goes more like this. You do something, and then that will lead you to something else. And when you know, all of a sudden you get the idea that, hey, I want to raise pastured poultry, then you're going to, when you research a little bit, you'll find out, well, I need to build chicken tractors. Well, there's lots of designs out there, or you can look at the ones that I built, and you can copy my design. That would be fine. Mine's a hybrid that I looked at other people's designs. I started building it that way, and then I said, wait a minute, that's not going to work here where I live. I need to change it for my particular circumstances and my materials too. I couldn't get sheet aluminum here, so when I tried using sheet steel, way too heavy for the superstructure. And you don't want the thing so heavy that when it's time to move chickens, you know, you think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, because it's heavy. You want it light, and you need it shaped so that when the wind goes across it, it's going to go to the ground and not wind up like, you know, other things that you've seen blow across people's yards. We've never lost a tractor to the wind. We did have them move a couple of feet once, and it did land on a couple of chickens. I don't know if we had any losses, but our design really is good in high winds, and you know, so Where are we now?
I don't have any new ones. I just McGee Homestead Adventures was talking about how he gets a bull and uses him, and then runs him through the processor. So that's how he handles his breeding.
So, yeah.
That's kind of an interesting, kind of like how you do your sows.
Yeah. I'm just concerned. I did see, I've watched a handful of homestead videos. And I watched one of somebody that is really well known. And some guy backs up with a trailer and dumps this bull out in this, it looked like a horse stall. And then the guy, it looked like he was kind of chuckling a little bit as he drove away. And I thought, you have any idea the capability of a bull? They can run faster and jump higher and be meaner than anything that you've ever seen. And you can't tell that that's what's going to happen. And so I even, at the time, I said something in a video because I thought, you know, a lot of these animals that we're dealing with here, like our really big boars and cows, they can be very dangerous. And I mean, if we make it look like they're all not dangerous, that's not the case at all. I've had some mean pigs around here. I've had some mean turkeys around here, my bull was really mean. Or unpredictable. I don't think he hated me. He just
Felt the need
would
to hit
feel
things.
as though I backed him into a corner when he had plenty of room, and he would react. One time with him, he was out with the cows, and there's certain times when he's with the cows that he would be fine. He would just act like one of them. And he was out in a pasture that's heavily wooded on this place. And at night, before I went to bed, it sounded like somebody was taking a sledgehammer to a car. And I thought, it must be the next farm over. There was a young man that lived there, and he was their son, and I thought, well, maybe he's doing some body work on a car or something like that. But it went on and on and on, and whoever was doing it was really swinging. And I just like, well, it's over there, it's not my problem, and I'd go to bed and wouldn't think anything of it. Well, I had what they call a chopper box cover. A chopper box is something that they chop corn and they blow it into this chopper box, and it's made out of corrugated steel, and it's got a superstructure on it that's made out of tubular steel. It's like 1.5 by 1.5. It's all welded together and bolted together. It's really, really tough. And I had taken that and put it on skids. So it was probably 15 feet long and probably 8.5 wide. This thing was huge. It was so big that we didn't use it much because it was so hard to move. Not that like the tractor wouldn't move it, but it would leave these really bad divots in the hayfield. And my plan was at the time, instead of having one or a bunch of chicken tractors, I'll just have one big one. And it didn't work out. I'm telling you what, that did not work out. So instead of taking it apart, I just hauled it kind of out of the way, and it was on in this pasture. That bull wrapped that thing around trees about this big. So it's still out there, but we've actually sold the house that it went with. So it's kind of not my problem anymore. But if you were to try and get that chopper box out of there at this point, you would need to chainsaw off trees like this big. That bull wrapped that thing around trees, and he did it on more than one occasion, that he just felt threatened by this chopper box, and he was just going to beat the snot out of it. And he never even had a scratch on him. Never had a scratch on him. He would jump fences. He was a terror. And then if you locked him in the barn because he was being such a jerk with the other cows, he would beat the barn up. So, yeah, you can fool around with bulls if you want, but I hope you know. I hope you, those of you that are inexperienced, understand that you could be in for a real horror show. And as far as borrowing someone else's bull, it's sort of like borrowing someone else's tiger, you know. And they say, "Oh no, it's really harmless." Well, I don't know. I don't know. You take a tiger out of its environment and put it in a different environment, and yeah. Anyway, okay, good. I'm glad things work out for you with your bull. For me, I'm doing AI from here on out, unless I wound up getting into a bunch of brood cows, and I don't think I'm going to. So,
no questions, and it's 8:35.
are we out of questions? Okay, we're out of questions for tonight, so I'm going to cut this short, unless anybody has something really quick, because I got some people waiting on me over at the campfire, and I am out of here tomorrow. So if there's nothing, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and we will talk to you next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Remember, anyone can farm.